So this is not just about 4 to 5 accused who decide to recce the parliament, come to Delhi. It's also about where do they stay in Delhi. It was in Gurugram they found an accommodation by one Vicky, and now who's also, we are being told, has been taken into custody. But this is where the plot was really hatched. All the accused lived in this house, in this residence, before they decided to act on the plan of breaching into the parliament. Was this just ideological influence or someone ordering them for much more?
विकी शर्मा पिछले 15-20 साल से इस मकान में रह रहा था। इससे पहले 70, 80 और 90 के दशक में जो फौजी गैंग था उसका ये सक्रिय सदस्य था। इसके बाद ये यहाँ पे ऑटो चला रहा था। आसपास के लोगों की माने तो शराब पीकर झगड़ा करना इसकी दिनचर्या थी। अपनी बीवी के साथ झगड़ा करना, खासतौर पर पड़ोसियों के साथ झगड़ा करना इसकी दिनचर्या में शामिल था। और कहीं ना कहीं इसके चलते आसपास के पड़ोसी भी इससे खासे नाराज जरूर नजर आ रहे थे। फिलहाल यहाँ पे गुरुग्राम पुलिस तैनात है। गुरुग्राम पुलिस की एक महिला हेड कांस्टेबल को भी अंदर तैनात किया गया है। नाबालिग बेटी अंदर मौजूद है, उसकी सुरक्षा के लिए यहाँ पे ये तैनाती की गई है। कल भी गुरुग्राम क्राइम ब्रांच के अधिकारी यहाँ पर पहुंचे थे। इस मकान से काफी चौंकाने वाली चीजें जरूर सामने आई थी। अंदर कुछ बैग्स के अंदर भगत सिंह, सुखदेव और राजगुरु के से संबंधित तमाम किताबें मौजूद थी। उनकी फोटो जो है वो दीवारों पर लगी हुई थी। यानी कहीं ना कहीं काफी अहम सुराग गुरुग्राम पुलिस को भी लगे हैं। कल जब देर रात गुरुग्राम पुलिस के एसीपी क्राइम से हमारी बातचीत हुई थी तो उनका साफ तौर से कहना था कि बिल्कुल दिल्ली पुलिस के द्वारा पति पत्नी को हिरासत में लिया गया है और दिल्ली पुलिस को जो भी जानकारी गुरुग्राम पुलिस से या जो भी मदद चाहिए होगी वो उनको मुहैया कराने के लिए तैयार हैं। बहरहाल गुरुग्राम पुलिस की क्राइम ब्रांच टीम ने जो विक्की शर्मा है उनकी बिटिया से भी पूछताछ की थी, जिसमें बिटिया ने मनोरंजन को चाचू कहा था, तो वहीं जो शर्मा है उसको भी ये कहा था कि दूर का रिलेटिव है। यानी कहीं ना कहीं कनेक्शन जरूर है। इससे पहले दिल्ली पुलिस इन तमाम सवालों के जवाब तलाशने में जुटी है कि आखिर क्या कुछ कनेक्शन था विक्की शर्मा के साथ, यहां पे क्यों रुके और इस सब के पीछे और कौन शामिल हैं। कैमरामैन जितेंद्र शर्मा के साथ नीरज, वशिष्ठ, गुरुग्राम, आज तक।
So to be able to get in touch with this Vicky, also find his residence, and did this Vicky know, who's now been detained by the cops, was he aware of what was being planned and why his residence was being chosen as the place of accommodation? I want to go across now to my colleague Sreya Chatterjee, who's tracking all the latest on that. Sreya, over to you now, because it takes over a year to plan what session and when they'll act on it. What accordingly, and one, I want to know who is investigating, which agency is investigating this case, interrogating the accused, and how Vicky's role to have provided the accommodation will also be as much seen in the radar of the investigations. Go ahead, Sreya.
Well, Pooja, you know, what we entirely know about the plot as of now, these are only initial part of the investigation. Now, the Gurugram Sector 7 residence is where the 4 of the accused, 2 who were inside the parliament, 2 outside, had assembled allegedly on the midnight of 13th is what the details are coming up. Now, Vicky Sharma, this guy who's also been picked up by Delhi police, who's being questioned by Delhi police, apparently provided the logistics of it. Now, the other person that we're again and again talking about, because he's absconding, Lalit Jha, he has the phones of all the 4 accused. He was also allegedly present at that same residence in Gurugram is what we are being told. Now, how did they all gather together? Because they're all separated by boundaries. One's from Mysore, someone's from Lucknow. Lalit's initial information suggesting that he's probably from West Bengal. However, they all connected via one social media fan club page of Bhagat Singh is what we are learning. For more than 1.5 years, they were in contact with each other through Instagram. They played a life of social activists, something, whether it's a shroud or a real identity that the police is right now investigating, but they were all very well connected of Instagram. The use of social media further corroborated because Lalit Shah shared a video of the parliament attack with his friends who we have already spoken with. Apart from that, what we clearly also seen, Sagar has shared a post just before the attack. So somewhere down the line, social media investigation is also something the Delhi police is right now closely monitoring and also trying to unearth, if at all, there is any other party involved, particularly anyone outside the country.
Sreya Chatterjee will be tracking all the latest on that, and it's a developing story, remember. Every hour we're getting more and more information, but now, for the first time, I tell you precisely the background of these accused. Not just about how old were they, what were they planning, when did they come, but more details about what possibly, according to them, this was a heroic act of storming into the parliament. What were the reasons, according to them, behind? Now, Sagar Sharma, the one who you see jumping on those chairs where the parliamentarians sit, born in Delhi, a young man, studied till about class 12, did not really complete much of education, did not go to college. But apart from that, he was also looking for a job. He, we are being told, is a 27-year-old now and used to drive the e-rickshaw. But he was the one who was also highly influenced with the leftist ideology. Lived with his family in Lucknow. He comes from a very poor family, remember, and at this point, he somehow thought that apart from driving e-rickshaw, which was not sufficient, he needed to do something more. Let's go across to other details also coming in of other accused. He was constantly quoting Bhagat Singh and Che Guevara in his last Facebook posts. These are, of course, renowned leftist ideologues. Bhagat Singh for us has been one of the greatest freedom fighters. But to be inspired of what Bhagat Singh did 95 years ago, to now do the same thing, thinking this will also make him a hero, make him do something big, was some of the ideologies that he believed in and the reason that he acted. Now, Manoranjan is also an important factor here. He was another one with Sagar in the parliament. 34 years old, computer engineer from Mysuru. This is according to our information from the investigators, that in Mysuru was where most of them actually met for the first time before coming to Delhi. Manoranjan, whose father also we have spoken to recently, said he did not take up a job after graduation. So he was a graduate, unlike Sagar, but either did not take a job, could not get it. These are the details surfacing, but completed the graduation from Bengaluru itself. So at least was educated enough to be able to apply for a job properly. But more than that, it was him who felt when the recce was done, remember, that there are some loopholes that can be done, and that was with regard to the frisking where the shoes are not checked. Let's go across now for other details as well. Neelam, who you saw right outside the parliament shouting slogans like Tanashahi Nahi Chalegi, according to our information, she's over 40 years of age, was preparing, according to information coming in, for the civil services even now, and wanted to get a job with regard to those services, and that means she wanted to be a public servant. But for some reason believed that throwing the smoke canister and to be able to bring light to certain issues. She pursued an MPhil from Jind, Haryana, one of the most educated from all of them. She had an MPhil degree, was pursuing it from Jind, Haryana. That means fairly educated, but was, according to information, not able to get a job. And that's why some of them have told that they wanted to bring to the limelight unemployment issues. Neelam also says, cleared the teacher's eligibility test but remained unemployed, which means having MPhil, applied for the eligibility test, which is for the teacher's job, but because she could not clear, was that one of the reasons that led to her anger as well. Let's go across to other contenders as well. This is important. Yes, I must come back to this. There are some videos that are going viral. This is what the Bharatiya Janata Party leaders are also picking on. There are videos viral of her having participated in the farm protests that we had seen a few years ago. It was anti-government, anti-BJP specifically, and she is heard raising some slogans as well against the Bharatiya Janata Party and participating in those farm protests. So a known activist in local circles. Detained by the cops during the wrestlers' agitation too. So farm protests and wrestlers' agitations we have seen in the past 2-3 years have been big issues with which the government has been targeted. She was seen in both of these protests, and she had by herself shared videos of her presence in those incidents. Amol Shinde. You would also remember this young man who was caught by the cops outside the parliament. Amol is a 25-year-old, according to our information by the investigators, and belongs to Maharashtra's Latur. One is from Karnataka, one is from Haryana, one is from Maharashtra. Studied till class 12th again, completed schooling, did not go much beyond that. Again, that he did not work, he did not have a proper job that he was working in. But for him, he had applied to the police recruitment job, to the army recruitment job as well, did not clear any of these. Amol Shinde, again, a young man that was caught by the cops earlier. So at least these four that I'm talking about are prominent because their faces have surfaced. They were directly involved in storming inside the parliament and outside too. But the investigators are trying to find out if there were these issues that they genuinely believed in, ideological influence with which they decided to hatch the plan, or was it much more? Was someone else guiding them to create this commotion and possibly something that could have turned into a much bigger tragedy on the anniversary of the Parliament attack.